Assalamu alaikum everyone. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil alayna isran kama hamaltahu ala allazina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih. Wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna Anta Maulana Fansurna ala al-Qawmil Kafirin. Ameen. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah al azim. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Welcome everyone, inshallah. We will continue with the 18th word, page 240-41. We did discuss the second point on this particular verse, who has created everything in the best way, from the Quran, section 32, verse 7. And we touched upon a lot of kind of points here on whatever is created is for the benefit of human beings, conscious beings, although it may seem ugly to us, but the creation side is one thing, and the apparent meaning that it may come to us is another thing. So from one perspective, there are two perspectives. From our perspective, it may seem something that we dislike, but from the creation perspective, there are many benefits and many hidden benefits that we may not realize. Just like it says, beautiful flowers, smiling flowers are behind those things. So let's say there are storms or rains and flooding, hurricanes, earthquakes, plague. We may start complaining, hey, there's a lot of flood in the place, too much rain happened. It may have destroyed many things, crops, animals, disturbed many human functioning in the places, but the creation of that is something that was beneficial, which we may not have seen, which may not see. That's why unfolding of numerous hidden immaterial flowers is there. The seeds of many potentialities which have not developed, sprout and grow beautiful on account of events which are apparently ugly. And all the media would talk about is, oh, wow, look at this hurricane, look at this. All the rain that happened caused flooding in this. That's all they keep mentioning, but that's one aspect of it. But the other aspect is always ignored, which is from the creational perspective, that how many things are beneficial, and also another aspect is that by keep talking about it from the one perspective, our perspective of not liking it, we are kind of also going into the realm of the creation aspect and complaining to God that he didn't create something that was good. That's it. Because we are not happy with it. So we are kind of criticizing the creation and the creator thus, in that sense. And there was one point I think I was asked to remind was about the self-centeredness of man, since man is self-centered. And he reasons according to the result, which looks to himself and judges the result to be ugly. So this is something about the human being where there's this aspect of self-centeredness. And again, he says about, I think I saw another place where he says, yes, also since man is self-centered and worships the apparent, and therefore judges everything according to the face that looks to him, because he always looks to him. He doesn't see the other side. He doesn't see the creational aspect. So then it becomes a self-centered man. He supposes to contrary to good manners many things that are perfectly polite and correct. So I know Brother Ali had mentioned about we will discuss a little more on what the self-centeredness entails, how we are kind of living in this civilization in a very self-centered means manners. We always look at one perspective, like the example of how the media talks about many aspects. There's a whole show on the weather report forecasting right now. Before, I remember growing up in Europe, you just used to be pictures and cities, and they used to display what the temperatures were. But now they're like dedicated people on that come up and make comments on, it's like a big thing that they make comment on the season and the weather and how horrible the day when it snows or it rains, all the disaster as if it happened to the human beings. But that's one thing. So in general, the self-centeredness is always looking at one aspect to the human side himself, as if it's going to benefit him. Reminds me of the phrase, I like this, I don't like this, as if everything just is for my benefit. And I forget that there is the creation aspect, which looks to the thousand of names, look to their qualities of their maker. So I will stop here if anybody would like to share their thoughts about self-centeredness and what are we worshiping? Worships the apparent. That was interesting. Worships the apparent, and therefore judges everything according to the face that looks to him. Brother Ali, go ahead, please.
I think there is no problem in not being happy with some creation. That is, this feeling is within me. I cannot hide it. I cannot deny it. I don't like to be ill, but the problem is turning this dislike, the sense of not liking, into a means of complaint and choosing a self-centered worldview for me. Since I don't like it, I must complain who created it or made it. Of course, no one makes me ill, but who created this order of the universe in such a way that there is sickness or something problem for me. And also other creations, for example, people are killing each other in war, etc. I don't like them. Do I have the right to dislike them, not to like them? Yes, absolutely, to me. I am made in this way. But if I turned to the Creator saying that you don't obey my expectations and you created something in a way that I don't like it. Now, the problem is there. Accusing the Creator doing something against my expectations, rather than thinking that, look, the sense of dislike within me is given by whoever is created me, whoever has created me. All right? And the illness is there. Well, the same one is creating illness within me. Shall I complain or shall I think about it? There must be a reason, I think. Why do you think this creator of health, creator of loving, healthy life, no problem life, is at the same time creating that I don't like, and he has given me the sense that you shouldn't like this. I would rather say, I don't like this. I would say, my Creator wants me not to like it. I think this difference must be clearly put so that we can analyze the reason, looking for a reason. Do I see any craziness in this creator? Look at the universe, look at my creation, look at perfect creation when I'm healthy and happy. Doesn't no sign of craziness. Oh, there must be a reason then. I think that this chapter is going to deal with attitude. Thank you.
The attitude. Okay, thank you. iPhone, please go ahead.
I'm I'm still trying to like formalize my thoughts to how to, I'm not sure how to express it, but it is true that there are things in life, in this creation, that we don't like. And I'm in a meeting, buddy.
Okay.
And it is inevitable, like we just like, it is true that we are created in a way that we don't like them. But I think the main problem for me, at least, not understanding the wisdom, or not being able to see the bigger picture. So things arises from the, I think last week, like we kind of talked about this, like the things that we do not like, or the evil arises from the things themselves, that they are not able to really be a mirror to the perfection of the creator. So whatever we experience as the things that we do not like, or whatever the things that we like consider as evil, it is coming from the fact that the creation itself is not able to reflect the perfect quality of the creator. That is why you see the different levels of beauty, different levels of goodness, different level of love. And that's why we start seeing certain things as like, or we start feeling liking certain things, and like not so much liking certain other things, and disliking certain things and hating certain other things. And that comes from the graduation or graduality of this universe. But if the
Sorry, it comes from
nature
where?
of the universe is not as such, can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah, what do you say? It comes from where? This sense of, you were saying?
It comes from the having like being at like different level in the creation itself. Like, so for example, like a small mirror reflects the side, like the light of the sun in a certain way, as opposed to the ocean versus like a body of like lake. So every being reflects certain quality of the creator and is lacking many other qualities of the creator. And that's where that like things arises from, that we do not like, or we perceive them to be evil. But if we just focus on that aspect, I don't know if we can really find the solution for it, even though saying that, claiming that, because author says, oh, on one aspect looks to you, but like there are thousands of aspects looks to the creator. Well, like good for him. Like if I'm not able to really understand what that means, like that is not an answer. It's just a claim. I don't know what he means by that. So I think if we cannot understand the point that if the creation itself wasn't gradual, and that only we can experience the qualities of the creator in a gradual like level, different levels, then we wouldn't be able to we wouldn't be able to experience it at all. Like, for example, like if you are completely immersed in light and there is no level of like any kind of darkness, how do you really experience the light itself? Then the light itself goes into non-existence as far as your understanding or perception goes. That's why it is okay to kind of maybe not liking certain things or maybe complaining about it, but at the same time, understanding that like if you do not have those things that you do not like, then your life, your perception goes into a complete darkness. As far as you are concerned, you wouldn't be able to experience any of the qualities of the creator, which is even like a lot more worse than the things that you do not like at the first place. It's kind of difficult concept for me to express, but I think that's where the solution is, to understand that.
Thank you, Osman, for sharing. I saw a few themes you mentioned about the perception, mentioned about the worldview one comes to, and that we are in a particular order, so we don't know what's going to happen behind the scenes, what's happening, or we are not accustomed or aware of that, and that what happens within those events. So yeah, a lot of factors are there, but I would like to take it back to what Brother Ali was saying about the attitude, how this becomes part of our attitude. Like we get accustomed to it and we reason according to the result, which only looks to ourselves. So it's a choice that we have to take. Or it's one option. You don't have to take it. But this is the attitude that we need to kind of work on to get away from this sort of reasoning only to the result, which looks to myself, but then look at the creational aspect and look at more of the other qualities that are coming. So there's some effort that has to be done there. And I did see another hand up, which Faiza, did you want to speak?
Assalamu alaikum. I think related though, maybe slightly on a different vein. And I don't want to be like the self-centered man since I wasn't here for the entirety of the discussion on these sections, but I guess what I was thinking about as we were reflecting on this section is, the self-centered man is defined here as one who judges with what is apparent to him, with what is external or apparent to him. Which beckons the question then, how am I to judge? Am I to judge in a way that is not apparent to me, that is not accessible to me? Could it kind of be indicative of that? And then, I was thinking of perhaps a simple example. If I tell my niece to put her seatbelt on in the car, in her car seat or whatever, and she doesn't understand the wisdom behind it, but she might be able to say, oh, my aunt, she knows well certain things and she knows something that I might not know. So there's wisdom in me putting my seatbelt on. So there's a sense of trust and surrender that she gives there based on her previous examples or experiences with me. Having said that, when it comes to the creator-created relationship, I can't, or I guess when it comes to forming the premise for which I'm establishing my existential or trying to establish existential security for myself, I can't establish that on somebody else's telling me of some wisdom in something that is not accessible to me. And which then, in my thought process, and I was thinking about, I can conclude the necessity that the source of existence must be wise, even though within my limited knowledge and understanding, I don't have access to the entirety of that wisdom by definition of who I am, nor perhaps the wisdom of the particularities of the situations that I might be undergoing. So I guess then it kind of draws that fine line between, being able to conclude that there must be, that the event must be wise, even though I don't have access to the particularities of what that wisdom looks to. Otherwise, then if not for that, then I would get, and also like what is wisdom too, like here the examples that the author kind of gives us is like within the natural world and like the physical things, whereas I think most of the dealings that we're concerned about is the wisdom in a particular experience or something that's happening in your life or something that has happened or whatever is on your mind, which may not be necessarily concrete things, but rather like the experience in and of itself. So those are just some. And one last thing, like I think perhaps like the key there is one of the keys as well as the act of judging, right? Because in order to be a true judge of something, I have to, in order for me to claim that I am the absolute judge, I have to also have absolute knowledge and wisdom of that particular thing. So by virtue of being created, I always have very limited scope, very, one-sided or like a single perspective, maybe two, let's say, if somebody shares something with me. So I can't make an ultimate judgment. I can make a very limited judgment, but then I guess I can be aware that my judgment in and of itself is very limited and cannot be taken as the absolute judgment upon that experience. And then I can, by concluding that the source of existence must be the wise one, must be the compassionate one, I can conclude that there must be wisdom and compassion in this experience, even though I might not be privy to it at this particular time in my life.
Thank you for sharing, Brother Lee. Go ahead.
The term which is used here as aspect, which looks to human beings and which looks to its creator, seems to be a kind of prejudice way of speaking. Why? No, the things have two aspects. What do you mean? Just I look at the things, I'm suffering from an illness, God forbid, and that is my problem. This aspect, that aspect. But I think by doing this, the author is telling us, don't say that the things happen by themselves. Things need to be given existence. There must be a source of existence which gave that things to exist. This gave the things existence. So take into account that nothing can happen accidentally. So there must be a conscious choice behind the existence of everything. So consider the case from your side and say, I don't like this matter. And consider the case from the one who gave existence to the things. What do you think he may mean or it may mean by creating this? You are given the wisdom to ask this question, and you have to question it. No, I don't like it, and we discussed earlier, I should not jump into criticizing the creator because I will be in contradiction. When I don't like something, it is given to me by the one who created the thing as well as me. What is the point? So the author is inviting us to think of the aspect which is concerned the creator of that event. So I have to say, first, rather than jumping to the conclusion, who is doing this, which kind of capacity he has. Now, when I go there in this area, which kind of creator he or it is, which kind of creator it is. Then it comes to Aditya Beza's point, as far as I could follow, then I have no capacity to comprehend absolute. Correct? I'm a created being. No one can claim that I know everything absolutely. But I am responsible from within my own capacity. Whoever created me gave me a limited capacity because as a created being, I cannot have absolute capacity. Otherwise, I would be the creator. I'm not. I know that. Okay. So within my limited capacity, I have to take into consideration what is the wisdom the creator may have. As far as I understand, that is my responsibility. I don't have to know all the wisdoms that the creator has. Creator is the absolute one. This is not my duty. My duty is only to be aware that there is a creator. This creator is a wise creator, and we cannot put limit to him. But I have to think and find out the wisdom in his creating this undesired thing and giving me the sense of not liking some things. What do I think? I'm not saying what does he think. No. I have no claim. I know that. What do I think it might be? That is my responsibility. And as far as the verbal explanation of the creator asks me in that verbal explanation, I created you to know me within your capacity, but understand that your capacity cannot comprehend absolute, infinite, but your capacity can understand that the source of existence of this universe must be absolute. That is your responsibility. He must be absolute. I'm speaking very slow to make the case clear. He must be absolute, not he is absolute. We keep repeating the importance of these two phrases, but we can say, okay, I am speaking to everyone who must be absolute. I say, look, you must be absolute, so I'm speaking to you as an absolute being. In this case, in the worship relationship, if you like, communication relationship, I say, oh, the absolute one. That is how I can address. You are absolute. That's my conclusion was. So if you are absolute, then give me what this one I want. This is my duty to ask him to give me health, for example, not to give me calamities, whatever they are. So I am in the position to make petition, requirement, inquisition from my creator. That is my responsibility, and we are going to discuss this to understand that there must be a wisdom, if you like. It is wrong in English, but there must be a kind of wisdom in it, and I have to admit it. I shouldn't ignore it. That is what we are going to concentrate on in our further reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. Osman, go ahead.
I have a question to clarify specifically to Brother Ali. So he must be absolute is my conclusion. And he deals with like everything with that, like his absoluteness. But what point do we make the transition from, you already reach a conclusion, you already like in your like journey to understanding this reality of this universe, you already come to like conclusion that there must be one, a creator, and he must be absolute, and he's the one who deals with the things in this universe. So at what point do you transition from that understanding to the understanding that, like, for example, like in Fatiha, you know how you directly speak to him? Uh, we seek help from you, like addressing him directly. So in our like daily practical life, reaching those absolute conclusions that he must be absolute, that's not how life works. So at what point do we make transition from that step to a step that actually we can, through the events, through the experiences, whether we like it or we don't like it, we can actually use those as means to communicate with him?
Brother Ali?
Very simple answer I have this. If I like it, I have to thank the creator of what I like. If I don't like it, I have to give up self-centered arrogance, self-sufficiency, because I am a created being, admit it, and say that, look, I cannot really stop this hurricane. How can I stop it? Please, creator of the hurricane, protect me from the harm that the hurricane may cause to me. I need your help. This kind of communication I call worship is this. The communication, but in religion there is a form, the prophet presents the form of specific rituals. This is another way, but this is the general, as if we have to live by with this understanding, keep this awareness 24/7. So no way to get it, but the other worshipful actions are different. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. And any other comment or questions before we move on to the next third point? I think you can start the third point now.
Whose hand is previous hand or really?
I think so. Osman, is that your previous hand or you have a comment to make?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
No worries. All right. Put it back up again. Okay, now thank you. All right, third point. If you do love God, follow me. God will love you. This is from the Quran, section 3, verse 31. If you do love God, follow me. God will love you. Since in the universe there is observably beauty of art, and this is certain, it necessitates with a certainty as definite as actually witnessing it, the messengership of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. In the universe, observably beauty of art, it necessitates with a certainty as actually witnessing it, the messengership of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. So by observing the beauty of art in the universe, we are witnessing the messengership of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. That's very interesting. For the beauty of art and finely ornamented forms of these beautiful creatures show that their fashioner possesses a significant will to make beautiful and powerful desire to adorn. And this will and desire show that the maker possesses an elevated love and sacred inclination towards the perfections of the art he displays in his creatures. Will and desire show that the maker possesses an elevated love and sacred inclination towards the perfection of the art he displays in his creatures. And this love and inclination required to be turned towards and concentrated on man, the most enlightened and perfect individual among beings. And man is the conscious fruit of the tree of creation. And the fruit is the most comprehensive and furthest part. The part with the most general view and universal consciousness. And the one with the most comprehensive view and universal consciousness should be the most elevated and brilliant individual. The one with the most comprehensive view and universal consciousness should be the most elevated and brilliant individual who will meet with and be addressed by that beauteous maker, who will expend his universal consciousness and comprehensive view entirely on the worship of his maker, the appreciation of his art, and offering thanks for his bounties. So let's see what this paragraph is saying. So I think he's in the 18th word. There's like a lot of verses that he's sharing. Verse about creation, who created the best, it was the one before. Oh yeah, in the name of God, the merciful, the compassionate, think not that those who exalt in what they have thus contrived and who love to be praised for what they have not done, think not that they will escape suffering, for grievous suffering does await them. We saw that it was talking to the soul, to the human spirit, and here also how we are experiencing the universe. And we discussed seeing the creational aspect of even the things that we apparently may not like. And here in this one, it's talking about observing the universe, seeing the beauty and art in it, and therefore witnessing the messengership of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, ties with the universe. Brother Ali, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think before going into analyzing the paragraph, which is a comment on the verse cited on the third point, if you do love God, follow me, God will love you. I mean, it seems to be as if, what are they talking about? Yeah, I love God and I have to follow God. What do you mean by follow me? Who is you? And God will love you. Why do you get into my love for my God and in between us, me and my God? Who are you? I mean, the first thing, a person is expected to ask this question.
It's a good question, yeah. If you do love God, follow me. So there's some intermediary in between that I have to follow. and then God will love you. So there's a way to love God. So I cannot love God directly, apparently.
So it is very important that the author is very, very careful not to, in the citations of the verses from the Quran, etc. So extremely careful. So in the original verse starts with say. If you do love God, follow me, God will love you. But there is no say here. Why? It is interesting. He must mean something. He's a very clever, very wise man, smart. He must be aiming at something. So I understand that I will share my understanding. Of course, everybody will share his own understanding. And as a common joining everyone, we will have a nice dinner, inshallah. So, if you do love God, it's a general statement. Follow me is a general statement. Well, I have to ask, whom shall I follow? Yeah? So when you say, if you use the word say, which is mostly related or mentioned in the Quran, if you say the word say refers to Muhammad only, the prophet only, then I feel, oh, he's speaking to him, nothing to do with me. That is why the author is careful not to take the word say and make it a general statement, general demand, and leaves the question or the space for me. Whom should I follow? Who? Who can be? That is why I wonder away. This is the way I wonder now. Who should I follow? Why should I follow? Somebody. So if we are prejudiced about reading the Quran, not to make reasoning and confirm that, oh, this makes sense to me, rather saying that, oh, I am a Muslim, Quran says, follow the Prophet Muhammad, so I have to follow the Prophet Muhammad. We never take this attitude, the second attitude, in our discussions. So it perfectly fits the purpose of the book we read. The author wants us to really think about it. So that is one point. Another point, if you do love God, what does it mean? I give this simple example. If you do love your iPhone or phone, telephone, smartphone, or it's very clever, etc., etc., it is perfect. I love it. I'm ready to pay $1,000, $2,000 for it. It is worth it. I love it. Okay. Follow me. Who? I don't know. Why? God, if it means the maker of the iPhone will love you, what does it mean? I would simply ask a very simple question. Do you think of course the iPhone must have, everybody agrees, whether they believe in God or not, agrees that not necessarily iPhone, but any smartphone is made by a conscious engineer. So let's put the word here. If you do love the engineer, follow me, and the engineer will love you. I said, what does it mean? Engineer will love me with the condition that I have to follow somebody, because I cannot follow engineer. What I can follow only the quality of the phone I am using and make it, benefit from it as much as I can. But how can I benefit from it? I have to learn how to use it. From there, the best men who knows how to use all the functionalities of the phone. Who is this man? Oh, maybe a person who's appointed by the engineer to give instruction for me how to do it. So the instructor has been educated, prepared to represent how to use this iPhone in the best way so that the people benefit from it in the best way. Who is this expert who is really prepared and put on duty by the engineer of the phone? I have to search for it, and the following paragraph that we are going to read will describe this. So we understand the wisdom why we should read the Quran as not speaking to the Prophet specifically, but to speaking to everybody. And the word say in Arabic, kul, directly related to me, it's all other human beings, including the Prophet Muhammad. So don't narrow down the meaning and the addressee of the Quran to a person only. It is a contradiction to the universality of the speaker in the Quran. He is the creator of everyone, and he says, I sent the Quran to everyone, and not only Muhammad. So it is one. It is the second thing is follow me is left ambiguous. So I have to raise my reasoning. I have to, if I love what I have been given, I have to love the one who has given to me. The one who has given to me, I say, please tell me. There is no answer, because he is not accessible to me personally, but he has agents, instructors, so he must have who can teach me the best way of utilizing from this phone. Got it? It's a full of wisdom, this verse, like every other word, but this word is really very obvious if we really think about it freely. Thank you.
So the universe must have someone or something that must tell me about the beauty and art, and I have to look for that in the second phase that you pointed out. So applies to everyone. Okay, Osman, go ahead.
I have a quick question. So, like, what do you think the relevance is, like, in this third point to the previous point, second point, and the first point? Like, what do you think? Why do you think that, like, actually the author studies this verse, and this is the third point coming after what he discussed, like, in the second point? I think there's an interesting connection.
If you saw
seemingly they are completely.
Sorry?
Seemingly they are kind of completely like different points and irrelevant, like individual points, like grouped together. But why they are grouped together and on the 18th word?
Why don't you share yours?
I don't know. I just feel like there is some sort of interesting like connection, but I guess we will read to see how he proceeds with like the explanation of this word.
Okay, yeah. All right, so let's continue then. So
we had the hard problem of, they call it evil, that we are facing, and how are we going to understand, and how are we going to see the wisdom as far as our capacity allows us, that the wisdom of the creator in creating some things that I don't understand, how to deal with it, how to utilize it, and I need instruction. So I have to see that there is a reality out there, that the things are beautiful and they are made perfect, purposefully in the perfect way, and there must be a deliberate, this must be a deliberate action inviting me to something, because I am the conscious being. And there is no need to compare, I am the best man, etc., or the best creation, best or not, whatever I am, I am. I am responsible within my own capacity. So I say, no, I understand that this is beautiful, there is a purpose. There must be a purpose. Why do you make it beautiful then if you don't like your creation? Even human beings make something, they make it in an attractive way that the people will desire to have it. It means they are aiming me to get it, to buy it. That is human desire. And also the creator of the universe say, hey, pay attention to it and buy it. It means question it for yourself. That is an invitation for me from my creator. So I understand that in order to benefit from this creation and make sense of it, I have to look for a person or an instructor, a best man who are specialized in appreciating the wisdom of the creator, and I have to benefit from them, consult them, for example, check how they managed with this in understanding the wisdom in creation, beautiful creation, that I like it, although I may not like something, but I need to understand the wisdom. So from where I can learn better how to utilize this universe, how to understand his wisdom. Third point comes, says that you have to find the best man who understood the meaning, the purpose in creation, therefore understood the wisdom of the creator, so that you can benefit from him. So everybody needs education. You need an education. Your creator knows that you need an education. He must send you an educator, instructor. So look for it, and you will be comfortable to benefit from him, his message, his teaching, etc. So the Quran comes from him. God's speech also comes from him. If there was no instructor, there would be no point in making the things, even the simple machines. Human beings need instruction, how to utilize it in the best way, how to use it in the best way. So that is human nature, and addresses this by sending an instructor. That is the connection I could find as far as I could see. Thank you.
Yeah, if I may just add to it. So yeah, like in the second point, he deals with the kind of the problem of evil in a way, and like seemingly like everything in this like creation, there are not maybe not everything, but there is lots of things that we perceive them to be evil and we don't like them. And then right after that, he comes with the verse saying that God loves you. So like, well, like if you love me, when then like why am I going through all the things that I do not like? And then when Nursi explains that verse, or like maybe the verse itself, God loves you, follow me, and like if you do love God, follow me and God will love you. So that's an interesting transition, because I am dealing with the things that I do not like, and that brings a lot of burden. I think that's really like, if you like talk to the people who reject God's existence, not because like they really have like taught and like come to a very firm conviction that like, yeah, there's nothing that can prove his like existence in this life. That's why I reject. It's because of the things that they do not like or they struggle with in life, and like the emotions like build up because of that. That's like an emotional like outburst for their struggles, and as a result of that, like they blame God for like making it, and that's why they just decide not to do anything to do with him. And in that sense, like it's interesting for me that Nursi brings this verse and brings the prophet into the equation to teach me, because I think he's going to talk about different spheres, God's sphere, like the sphere of like lordship or something, and then the sphere of like worship. So like he brings that in it at this point to show you how you can actually have a connection and like a line of communication with him in a way through the things that we don't like. That's the reason why I find it interesting how he put this right after like dealing with the evil, because you can find a way through the teachings of like the or like practices of the prophet, which eventually like he is just showing you the way and teaching you how you can establish a communication with your creator, and that is through the things that you don't like, actually, because there will be two different like interpretations of the of everything that you go through in life.
Thank you for the comment. Yeah, so this is like a warm up for the next session we're going to have, inshallah, third point. So now that we have a foundation, inshallah, on what we're discussing, the condition, if you do love God, as the comments were sharing in the first point, it was more about everything is being created by an absolute source, and nothing in creation has any agency in the creation. And second thing is whatever is, since our man has no agency in creation, everything is created is good, actually, is for the best. And of course, there are things that I do like and there are things I may not like. And then I have to wonder where the things are coming from. That's one thing that was pointed out, that look at the source behind it and look at the aspect of the creational aspect, see where these things are actually coming from. So the example of sickness was given. Yes, I don't like sickness, but I have to look at the creation of sickness, and I have to ask the one who creates it not to create it for me. So in all this creation, I'm wondering, I need to find someone tell me all the different things that I do like as well. There are a lot of things I like. So there's the beauty of art that I see. And there are things that I don't understand, I don't like, I dislike them. I need to make sense of them as well. So that is where I think looking for that expert who would teach me to appreciate all the beauty, to appreciate the creation as it's meant to be. I think it's worth it to, inshallah, we'll look into it next time, inshallah. All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Any final comments by anyone? All right. Thank you, everyone. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka anta alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Bi hurmati suratil Fatiha.